It is Wednesday, October 30th, 2024. This is another edition of Baseball Today, presented to you by SeatGeek. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan, all smiley along for the ride as well. And I don't know, maybe the Yankees put our Tuesday show up in the clubhouse, got everybody inspired as I said, oh, there's no way we're getting to a game 5. So New York City, for the second time this season, you're welcome.
Yeah, you are a New York hater.
I'm not a hater.
In reverse, they should be worshiping what you say, man. My goodness. Yeah, this is what we both wanted. We both wanted this series to extend. We wanted it to go. We want more baseball, and we're going to get it, Chris.
That's right. The Yankees bats, they certainly came alive, and they have one guy who had an interesting evening on the base paths to thank as he trotted around the pillows.
Is loaded, 2 out. Breaks the ball, deep left field. Volpe with redemption.
You know, the fans were so ready to erupt last night, and we just got behind and you couldn't punch things in. So it's like you finally got to see the top blow off Yankee Stadium, you know, in a World Series game. And when Anthony hits that ball, it was like, you know, fun to see Yankee Stadium erupt. It's like they've been waiting for 48 hours to do that.
I think Aaron Boone makes a great point there, that they were waiting for something good to happen in this series, and it finally did for them.
I mean, Chris, they hadn't had a lead since the top of the 10th inning in game 1. And then Freddie Freeman comes out in this game and puts up a 2 spot in the first inning. So, yeah, I mean, it's hard for a fan base or the crowd to get up, and they needed something like this. And it was looking early on like they weren't going to get it. And then Volpe, man, he ended up having a really, really good game. And that was a really nice swing because before that, Chris, they did load the bases after some weird stuff, a couple of hit by pitches. And then Rizzo flies out to the shortstop. And now we're saying 2 outs, bases loaded. Are they going to get are they not going to get what they need here? And then Volpe answers the question.
Yeah. In fact, that was part of a topsy-turvy evening. It didn't start off great for him with that base running gaff, and he admitted afterward that's basically a little league play on the Wells ball that goes off the wall. How he didn't score from second is kind of a head scratcher. He ended up scoring eventually that inning, but maybe it cost Wells a base and maybe cost the Yankees a second run. But then later he comes up with this grand slam. And for a kid who was at the parade in 2009 and grew up a Yankees fan and, you know, wanted to be the next Jeter, and here he is living it out and not only living that dream. I mean, he was 1 for 12 before this game in the World Series. It was a struggle for him, as it's been for a lot of Yankees. He played outside that little base running gaff a perfect game.
Yes, he did. It was really fun to see him because you knew that he was kind of wearing that a little bit. You know, a couple knocks as you're seeing right here. The jersey was all, you know, just absolutely demolished. This was actually a crazy play here because this is Brent Honeywell. It was only 6-4, and Brent Honeywell got an out on the first pitch. And then that happened. It could have been 2 outs and nobody on. That could have went completely different. 2-run differential against these Dodgers is nothing. His head knocks this ball out of Lux's glove, and then all hell broke loose for the Dodgers. So it was quite like you said, the turnaround for him from where the night started to where it ended.
It was really the bottom part of the order that got this whole thing rolling for the Yankees. And it was interesting because Volpe, Wells, Verdugo combined 4 for 34 with only 1 extra base hit coming into game 4. On this night, they went 5 for 10, 3 extra base hits, a couple of homers. Volpe had a couple of steals. And the Yankees just played a more complete game, right? There were a couple of solid defensive plays. They ran the bases, with the exception of the Volpe issue which I think I've now mentioned 5 times, exceptionally well. The stolen bases, all that sort of stuff adds up. So, whether they could take it into game 5, who knows? But at least they've got a little bit of that New York Yankees swagger back. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, because it was a good game played. I don't think we're even nitpicking about where their deficiencies were. It was the bottom of the lineup. They weren't doing anything. I mean, you could talk about Judge all you want, but we're talking about different things on this show right now. So Bottom of the lineup didn't get the job done. They got the job done tonight. You're right about the base running. 5 stolen bases tonight, taking that extra base. Great job. There was a few good defensive plays as well. Rizzo had one up the line on, I think it was a Teoscar foul ball. And the bullpen has been exceptional for them all series, and they kind of came in and did their things. I thought Clay Holmes looked phenomenal tonight. If they can get that effort out of him, and then Mark Leiter is suddenly like a lefty specialist, it was a very good look for the Yankees tonight.
And a quick reminder that this edition of Baseball Today is presented to you by SeatGeek. We got a special announcement to help celebrate the World Series. SeatGeek, which is the official ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, giving all of you 10% off your next purchase with the code JOHNBOYPLAYOFFS10. Now, it doesn't matter what you're buying these for. So it could be for the next game of the World Series. It could be for an NFL game, college football, NBA, NHL, concert, festival, wherever you want to go to. SeatGeek is going to hook you up. The code is JOHNBOYPLAYOFFS10. That's whether you're a first-time customer or you've been here many, many times before. It's JOHNBOYPLAYOFFS10, 10% off your next SeatGeek purchase. And also one of the cool things about this place, they always tell you whether or not the seat is perfect for you. Scale is 0 to 10. They color-code it as well. Green dot is good. Red dot is bad. It's JOHNBOYPLAYOFFS10 for 10% off. And also, don't forget, we're doing our SeatGeek question of the week coming up on our last show of the week, whenever that is. So make sure you get it in. If we pick yours, use it on the show, $500 credit to use at SeatGeek. There, we got all that stuff covered. Let's talk about the pen a little bit because Luis Gil, solid. I would call him solid. He went 4+ innings. He worked into the 5th, gave up the Will Smith homer, got into a little bit of trouble. And so the Yankees needed to get the last 15 outs from their bullpen. And in particular, you had Leiter, Weaver, Clay Holmes. Those guys all looked great. I thought that was the key part of the game. Actually, you had Leiter getting Ohtani, and then they brought Weaver in to get Mookie Betts to keep it at just a 1-run game at that point. I thought that was probably the biggest turning point, if you will, or momentum stopper.
I mean, they've been doing this all series long. They've been very, very good. But yeah, I mean, I think you look at the score and you're like, oh my gosh, 11-4. This was not a blowout until the bottom of the 8th inning. So they did a good job of maintaining their lead. Like I said, I mean, the strikeouts were there. The swing and miss stuff was there. Clay Holmes even struck some people out. Inning in a third, 2 Ks. Leiter comes in, both outs he got via the strikeout. Weaver, inning in a third, gets 3 Ks. So they were nasty tonight. And they neutralized, and I thought Boone did a really good job of kind of finding the lanes and putting guys in good, advantageous positions, and they got the job done. Then I think it was big that they did score those runs. They got to shut down Weaver instead of having to put him back out there in the 9th. So everything worked out. Obviously, they threw a lot of pitches tonight, and they have to go again tomorrow. But I think at this point, I don't know how much that matters. I think people will tell you it does, but there's so much adrenaline going on right now. You could do a lot of crazy stuff on adrenaline, man. You could lift a car if you have enough adrenaline running through you. So these guys will be fine. They're all going to be in play tomorrow. You got Garrett Cole on the hill, plus your bullpen that can come back and do it again. If you're a Yankee fan, I don't know. Some people are saying they're not hopeful just yet, but I don't know. It's the start of hope. It's a new hope.
Yeah. At what point do you start hoping? I was listening to Jimmy a little bit on Talking Yanks, and he said that he's not allowing himself to mentally unlock, if you will, until a couple of innings in to game 6 if they get out there in LA. He wants to see Rodon get through a couple of innings, feel good, and then he said he will emotionally attach himself back to this series. Does that sound right?
That's weird. I mean, just let your emotions out there. That's what I would say. I don't really have a great I'm not a diehard anything like the way these guys are diehard Yankee fans. I love my Twins. I really do. I'm rooting for the Dodgers in this series because we need some balance in our life here on this show. I'll tell you this: Fangraphs had the Yankees' chances to win the World Series 5% before the game today. They have it a little bit over 11% to win the series after today's game. So it's trending in the right way. If they win tomorrow, to me, like you have to be invested from pitch 1 tomorrow. I don't know, like they gave you the hope. They came out and corrected all the things they needed to correct. And the biggest thing for me, if I'm a Yankee fan, I'm not saying I want Shohei to be hurt, but he doesn't look right. Like he does. He took a few hacks early on in the game, but like other than that, like he's holding his shoulder. He's definitely not at 100%. So if you're asking me, like when I would have hope, if I was a diehard Yankee fan, it'd be like right now.
Yeah, why not?
Wouldn't I?
Why wouldn't you? Yeah, because what's the harm? Of course, this is somebody from Cleveland who lives scared in the sports world.
You say you are all scar tissue.
90% Cleveland sports fans, 90% scar tissue.
90%. Okay.
Get the digits right. All right. So the Dodgers, they knew coming into this game that they were going to be walking a bullpen tightrope, if you will, trying to figure out which guys to deploy, which guys maybe save them a little bit. It got to 6-4 in the 8th. You talked a little bit about that they could have gotten a second out with nobody on. Instead, Volpe's noggin and the base knocked the ball loose, and then all hell breaks loose. They put up a 5 spot, and it ends up being 11-4 there. So I want you to listen to the post-game conversation between a reporter and Dodgers skipper Dave Roberts.
I don't mean this to sound flip. Did this outcome in terms of pitching play out as well as you could hope?
Absolutely. I don't think anyone expected those guys to lay down, and we had some at-bats that I thought could have been better, but we knew it was a bullpen game, and you know, as far as outcomes, to have 6 guys in your pen that are feeling good, rested, I feel good about that, and being up 3-1. Yeah.
You good with what he said?
He's already shown us the playbook. This is exactly what we did last series with the Mets. So I think this was the plan all along. We knew it was going to be some combination of Kasparius, Knack, and Honeywell. Hudson kind of got thrown in there as well today. So I think this was the plan all along. They kept it close until, that fateful bottom of the 8th there. So I think that it just was the plan.
But are you okay with it? I mean, you're essentially,
so
I don't want to say you're throwing away a World Series game, but
I'm not going to say they were throwing away a World Series game either. I'm not going to. It seems like they did that now after that 5-run 8th inning, but I think they're playing the percentages, Chris, which is what baseball teams do a lot now. I think they were understanding they weren't going to use that A bullpen today. And now they can say, well, we can use it in game 5, and there's going to be an off day. Then we can use it in game 6, and then we're all hands on deck for game 7. So they're saying we can go put our best foot forward for the next 3 games if we proceed the way we've been doing things in game 4. So I think there is a method to the madness. When it got to 5-4 after Freddie's fielder's choice, if I was the manager, I think about things a little bit differently, but I think they were going to stick to the plan no matter what.
Well, let's be honest here. This is an organizational decision,
yes.
Right? It's a pregame meeting. It's all about if-then scenarios. I'm sure there's even a chart that they're all looking at. If the score is this, if it's 2 runs after this number of innings, these are the guys that are available. If it's here, then we can use these guys. I'm sure that's exactly what it is. And there's no harm in doing it. It just is hard for fans to accept because logically, it does make sense. Logically, they have to win 1 more game, and they're going to have 3 cracks at it. The Yankees have to go 3 for 3 the rest of the way. So their margin of error is much thinner. But it's just like, man, you're only 2 runs down. Even if you're just going in the top of the 9th and it's 6-4, you're like, bloop and a blast. That's one of the great cliches in the sport.
Knack pitched really well. Like, when do you
totally?
So you're saying instead of Honeywell, bring in somebody else?
Yeah, I mean, one of their leverage guys.
like Trinan could have he had a day off. He could have pitched tonight and still pitched tomorrow, then had the day off. Like I could see that, but he kind of actually has been getting hit around in this series by the Yankees. So maybe he didn't want another piece of exposure there, but I don't think he was the guy to come in the 8th. And maybe he was, because you're not going to pitch the 9th if you're still behind. So I don't know. I guess that's one place I would have went.
It's possible.
Possibly.
Yeah, but then you get into the whole thing. Well, wait a second. They saw him in game 1. Then they'd see him in game 2. Then they could see him in game 4, and you're definitely going to need him at some point in game 5, most likely. So, yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff that goes on. I'm just saying that it makes sense the way Dave Roberts explained it. But it also
we've seen it before, too.
But it also isn't a series in early August. Like, this is it. This is it. So I think that there's probably a certain faction of Dodger fan that is pissed off about it right now. I could be wrong.
I think they were when he did it with the Mets as well. I kind of talked about it.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. Well, you know what we all need a little bit more of these days? To get off our ass. With bold flavors and a refreshing citrus kick, Mountain Dew is going to get you off your ass, have you feeling like you're on an actual mountain. A mountain where the weather is always perfect, your friends are ready to hang, and a day of epic proportions awaits. You know what? We love it when you're outside having fun with your friends, but also being a little on the competitive side. So go do a 3-point shooting contest, free throw shooting contest, longest drive, putting contest. You could do something with fishing. If you've got a monitor set up outside and your gamer headset, you could do, I don't know, some video games. You could play kickball. You could play wiffle ball. You could play blitzball. You could play pickleball. You could play any sort of ball you want. Why? Because the mountain is calling and you should answer. So grab your friends, grab an ice cold Mountain Dew wherever refreshing beverages are sold, and do the do. All right. Time to get you all set for Game 5, the last one of the year, at least in the Boogie Down. We know that. It's going to be a rematch of Game 1. Jack Flaherty goes for the Dodgers. Garrett Cole tries to keep the season alive for the New York Yankees. Here now, Jazz Chisholm and Tommy Edman.
The one thing about us is we love history, and we love to make history. So for us, we're out here trying to make history right now, and we know it's never been done, a 3-0 comeback, but we feel like we're the team that can do it. So
I think if momentum were, 100% thing, like we would have won today. Momentum was on our side going into today, but, it's, baseball's weird. There's a lot of things that can happen over the course of a game.
What are you shaking your head at?
It's just a lot of mental gymnastics right there from kind of both of them. It's just a human nature thing. You find yourself in a position and you're going to find, the sunny disposition that's going to kind of like help your side out. Like Jazz saying, we love history. What is it? I don't even know what that means. To make history. I get that. And then Tommy's like, momentum. What's momentum? I bet if he was asked that early on in the year, he's probably like, yeah, we got all the momentum right now. Like, I think it's funny. I think post-game interviews are hilarious. Like, guys a lot of times you just say things.
Well, particularly in this sport, right? Because when you don't hit well, how are you supposed to explain it other than we just didn't hit well today? Like in the NFL,
best answer sometimes.
In the NFL, sometimes it could be a play call, it could be a situation where it just feels like there's a lot more answers in a game like that. Whereas in baseball, it's like, I don't know, I missed it by about that much on the bat. So that was the difference between me flying out to, 370 or hitting it, over the wall. I don't know. I don't know about that stuff. But I guess the bigger question here is, how much momentum do the Yankees have now that they've got Garrett Cole on the mound in Game 5?
I mean, we kind of talked about this. I mean, obviously that's their guy. They lost Game 1 with Garrett Cole on the mound, so you can talk about that. And Jack Flaherty looked really good against them. I think it's as much momentum as you can have when you were down 3-0. A really good ball game tonight. We talked about the little things they did better. And then now, yes, you have your ace. You're at home. That place is going to be rocking because, as you mentioned, it will be the last game in New York, no matter what. So there's that. But then again, there's another team on the other side who, Tommy Edman just says he doesn't believe in momentum. So they're going to come out and they're going to expect to win too. And they're a very good team. So how much momentum do they have? Okay, here's a good one. I'm going to throw it right back at you. Who has more momentum? A team that's up 3-1 or the team hanging on that's down 1-3 with their ace on the mound. I probably logically would say the team that's up 3-1, right?
Well, I would feel better about my situation if I were the Yankees, just based on track record and from this standpoint. Garrett Cole is about to make.
You feel better about the Yankees than the Dodgers right now?
Just in Game 5.
Okay.
Just in Game 5. And the Yankees have talked about making this 4 one-game series. So they won the first game. I know. Once again, you talked about it. I think your description was perfect. Mental gymnastics. Because you could spin anything any way you want. So if I'm asking about strictly Game 5, Garrett Cole is about to make his 4th World Series start. He has gone into the 7th in each of the previous 3. Now, he couldn't get an out in the 7th the last time, and he only threw 88 pitches. I am going to guess he's going to throw more than 88 pitches, unless he just gets rocked early and they've got to go to the bullpen.
Sure.
But he could throw 110. Great. I'll see you next year, Garrett. And I know that there's going to be they hope there's a Game 7, in which case he would be available, but I don't even know if they want to do that with him, with a guy who's had a bad arm this year and all sorts of stuff. They're still paying him all this money, and he can opt out, blah, blah, blah.
Now you got me thinking about all sorts of stuff. Game 7, Garrett Cole and spikes in the bullpen. That's like my favorite thing. I don't know, man. Yeah, we got 4 one-game series. I love it. And the Dodgers we just need to win 33% of our games.
Let me ask you this about Jack Flaherty. His first game against the Mets in the NLCS was nails. It was as good a game as he's pitched all year, basically. 7 shutout innings. I believe he gave up 2 hits. In his next start, it was a disaster. He went 3 innings. He gave up 8 runs. Reportedly, he was a little under the weather, so that could have played a factor in it. Some people say also a team saw him for the second time in 5 days. Would you be worried if you were a Dodger fan about that?
No, I think it's like any other start. If he is locating and he's able to throw 3 pitches for strikes, I think he'll be successful. That's the bottom line. If he can locate the fastball, throw that little cutter slider thing and the curveball, and again, have all 3 of those working for him, and being able to kind of pitch backwards when he needs to, I think he'll do fine. That's when he has success. He just has the ability to throw all 3 of those things for strikes, because they do end up tunneling off each other, and he gets bad swings from. If he's erratic and getting behind in counts, then that's when bad things happen. But I feel very confident in Jack Flaherty. You're going to want to see, what does he look like, first couple innings? Does he have the command? That is going to be a huge telltale sign of how the game's going to go for him.
All right. So we do get a Game 5. We get one more game in the Bronx. For those of you attending, particularly down the left and right field line, keep your hands to yourself. Because unfortunately, we had a little incident. Mookie Betts going after a foul ball. Gleyber Torres has it in his mitt, in play. A couple of guys reach over. One actually peeled the ball out of his mitt. The other guy grabbed his wrist. Both dudes were ejected from the game. Some people laughed. Even some people at this company. Some people thought it was egregious and people should never be allowed in a ballpark ever again. Where do you sit on this?
I don't think they should be banned for life. Although I think maybe a year ban, I'd be okay with that. You just can't do stuff like this. This is so stupid. And I know there was the video of Jimmy, Jake, and Joe's kind of having fun with it. I think it was after the fact they knew Mookie was okay. And there is this 15 chin picture of this guy trying to rip the ball out. I can see how you think that's funny, but in the moment I was like, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. And that right there, I think the worst part. This idiot in the sunglasses, bro. It is the dead of night. Take your sunglasses off. You are not that cool. Okay. You are not a rock star. That guy reaching in and grabbing his hand, they could have hurt Mookie. And that was kind of the question I posed. I sent a tweet out to our own social saying, look, if this was Juan Soto, you guys would not be feeling the same way.
No.
So I hated it. Don't touch the players. In fact, I was talking about this on Talking Baseball with Jake. The guy whiffed. You could have just knocked the ball away and Mookie wouldn't have caught it. Would they have called fan interference? Maybe, but you never know. You messed your job up. Don't go back and grab a player, man. What are you doing?
I don't know what those people do for a living. I'm sure we'll find out because they'll become famous. That's the world we live in. So I don't know what their financial situation is, but I hope you enjoyed your inning
Yeah.
of high-priced tickets. They're idiots. Or you know what? I don't know them. And I think I tweeted out those two assholes will be leaving. I'll take that back. I don't know if they're assholes. That was an asshole move. That's how I would like to phrase it.
Well, what he was just doing there was like, that was on our side. There, that's when it stops. You missed the ball. That's when it stops. You can go and if it's in foul territory, go for the ball. This right there.
Yeah. And
that is just, oh my gosh. Dude.
You know what? We're too sensitive.
Did you see what Tommy Pham said?
Oh no. What did Tommy say?
So he was doing like a live
stream
blog or something for The Athletic. I don't even know what you would call it, like a live thing. He was writing, and someone said, "What would you have done?" And I don't have the quote up exactly. He's like, "It wouldn't ended like great for those guys."
It would not.
Imagine Tommy Pham would have went into the stands and grabbed both of them by their shirts and brought them onto the field.
That dude's sunglasses.
Them.
That dude's sunglasses would not have ended up in one piece. Is my guess, nor his face. It's pretty simple. Don't be a jerk. Keep your hands to yourself. Root for your team. You want to go yell at the other players to some degree? Fine. We saw Dodger fans throwing balls at jerks in Pro Par
earlier. We said
earlier.
that was stupid too.
Exactly. It's all it all stinks. It's
mix a water in, guys.
So,
That's my biggest advice to you. Just mix a water in.
I am begging the local New York TV to not make those guys heroes because I've worked in local TV. I know what they're doing. They're going to have, is there any way we can find out who these people are? Let's try and get the exclusive.
They're already out there. They've already got their names. They've already been interviewed by The Athletic, and
sucks. Didn't enjoy it. Thought it was stupid. Whatever.
I also thought it was stupid.
Good.
Look at us agreeing.
Don't forget that, and everybody will be like, "You are old guys.
You guys are soft.
You don't like to have fun." Okay, you got it. When Juan Soto gets kidnapped and taken over the wall at Dodger Stadium, if there's a Game 6, we'll check some.
Also, leave Jimmy, Jake, and Joe's alone. They're good people. Okay,
they're good people. By the way,
that tweet made him. The tweet was not great. Got to be honest.
It was a stupid tweet. To be honest with you. It was
and we're okay to call him out.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, everybody here at the company is not going to agree on everything.
Accountability, baby.
Not agree on everything.
Yeah,
so
you and I very rarely agree on anything.
That's right.
Yeah. You're a window seat. I'm an aisle seat.
I'm an aisle seat.
Oh, we do? Oh, yeah, we do. We fight for those. I forgot.
That's true. I don't mind the windows.
Okay.
Depends how my bladder is on that day. It's listed as day to day.
Gotcha.
All right, we are back at it again. We will break down Game 5, maybe preview Game 6, maybe talk about the end of the season. All I can say is I don't know where we're going, but I can't wait to find out. For our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, the uber-talented Trevor Plouffe, I am Chris Rose. We will see you Thursday on Halloween here on Baseball Today, presented to you by SeatGeek.